Silicon Valley after having a long and very kind of prestigious career. I mean, working at some of the major tech brands of our generation, namely Facebook and Dropbox. So I want to understand,
and Twitter.
what was,
Don't forget Twitter. Twitter's
I'm
also.
sorry, yeah, I didn't. Okay. Let me
Twitter
just pick
was
up
a
that
short stint, but
Okay.
yeah.
So, I mean, just tell me a little bit about like what was it that brought you back? Because you kind of left, and there was a kind of almost like a feeling that you'd done the large part of your career was kind of behind you, right? And then the advent of AI, right? If I'm getting this correct, you had a calling back to the Bay Area, to Silicon Valley, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Yes.
because you knew you wanted to participate in this new tech revolution.
It was because I feel the weight of and the power of AI and how dangerous it is if we don't get this right.
I remember you shared a few weeks ago about like you surfed this AI wave in the past and like extracted from the system, and you wanted to give it back. Can you tell more about that?
Yeah. I worked at Facebook. I spent a lot of time at Facebook thinking about how do we make sure we're building product that's better, that we know is good for our users. I landed on this belief that we're actually very focused, because we're very focused on what users tell us through their behavior. Like we would obsess over the behavior of our users, like scrutinize it to an extreme degree to understand what do they want and what do they not want. And I believe that was an expression of humility, where we are not thinking that we know what users want, but rather we have a very deep desire to listen and observe and understand from that what they actually want. And because we were doing that, we knew we were building a product that was better for users because we were building a product that users wanted, and we knew that users wanted it because they would use it, and they would use it more when we would launch new features. And I told myself when I ran photos at Facebook that I was a storyteller, that because of Facebook photos, for the first time in the history of humanity, you could log on and you could see all these beautiful photos from people that you cared about from all over the world. And yes, in the past, you could ask some cousin in, the UK, hey, can you send me photos of your new kid? But, often you wouldn't be able to really stay connected with everybody. And for the first time, we were able to allow people to tell stories to their network, to the and that was a great gift. Our mission was to make the world a more connected place. And as a storyteller at running Facebook photos and Facebook video, I felt like I was really meaningfully doing something there. And part of that, I decided to deploy facial recognition and detection to figure out who is in a photo, because to tell a story, you need to know things about what's happening, right? And the more you can know about what's happening, the richer the story you can tell. And I spent a lot of time thinking about, okay, how is this going to be misused? We don't want to tag somebody in a way that implies racial bias. We don't want these face IDs to leak in a way that would allow nation states to identify dissidents and persecute them. We want to make sure people know that this is happening, and give you control over your, whether or not you're getting tagged. I spent a lot of time thinking about all of this, and we launched it. It was probably one of the largest, if not the largest, machine learning deployments in the world at that time. You know, we would process at its peak like 100 million photos a day or more. So at that time, this was just like an enormous volume, and was yeah, it was and but today it's sort of like kind of like playground AI, you know. It's like what the little kids use. A lot of our tech today could be run on a phone, you know. Like this is not today, this is some of the most basic machine learning and AI, very basic models. And the reality is I was shipping facial recognition and detection because it got clicks.
Yeah.
You know, like you've been tagged in a photo, users could not click on that. I knew that. I knew that was the kind of story they wanted to know. They wanted to know who's talking about them. And by sending them a message like, hey, we found your photo in somebody else's uploads, people clicked on that. People wanted to know that.
Yeah.
And it was that engagement, right? That drove me. When I think of that engagement, the whole company was designed around that engagement. All of our AI, all of our ML was designed around maximizing that engagement.
Yeah.
And when I look back on that, I've come to two conclusions. One is we weren't building product people loved. We were building product people used. And I used in the same way that a drug addict would use the term, right?
And
like we were a drug dealer.
Yeah, I mean, users they share the same verbiage.
Like when I see half the country cheering on like a group that's storming the Capitol, and the other half of the country looking at that and just like not understanding there's no common truth.
Yeah.
I see Facebook. I see the fact that we were showing things that you loved to click on. We were showing things that confirmed your biases. And as hard as it is to believe, like I just would have never predicted that the work that we were doing would lead to like political unrest.
Yeah.
And isolation. Like our mission was the opposite.
Yeah.
And now we're working with AI that is so much more powerful.
Right.
And I think we don't know what the second and third order effects are going to be, but they're going to be big. They're going to be really big.
Yep.
There's something you shared about like users wanting to use that feature and like having engagement, and they are using, and by them using, you know, like that they are liking the feature. How, like if that was the old world, what is the new world for you to understand what actually users want and that is good for them versus just like detecting what they're using and building around that?
I don't know what the new world is. I think we don't know as a society what the new world should be. This is really uncharted territory. We have metaphors in other industries. Like we have the food industry. You know, in the 1930s, you had preservatives and the assembly line. And then in that decade, you got Twinkies, you got Frito-Lays, you got the Snickers bar, you got the donut machine. Like you got Spam, you got this proliferation of junk food, right? And it was what users bought, what users used, right? But very, very quickly, people realized, oh, this is not actually what I want for my life, right? And then you got the nutrition panel. But the nutrition panel came half a century later. And that told you, okay, this is the real health. This is the health profile of the thing that you're eating, right? And you got Whole Foods, and you got, I don't know what that looks like for tech.
But do you believe that healthy version exists and has legs, like this type of businesses that are not exploiting the dopamine hits?
I don't know if the healthy version has legs. I'm hoping it does. because I'm hoping the startup will be one of those products. And if it doesn't have legs, I think it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to make this work.
I think, yeah, I think what I like about the name of the company, which is Plow, and the understanding that the metaphor is that that was kind of the one of the first big industrial symbols, or kind of symbols of the industrial revolution, that actually gave time back to man. And I think that's probably ultimately the tension, right, between any technology, is that ultimately it pulls you in, but the idea is like, at what point can it release you? Like where can it? And I've noticed that Claude will tell me to go to bed. I don't know if you guys have had that experience where it's getting late.
Wow.
Go get some rest. Do you guys get that?
That's never
I
happened to
didn't.
me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think
That is
there's a part of
awesome.
me. I mean, it's really caring, and I'm developing this kind of pseudo, emotional relationship with Claude. But I also know that that's a very kind of almost insidious ploy to anthropomorphize this code, because it's known in the gaming industry that if the best parasites do not kill their hosts. They
Right.
bring them enough enrichment for them to continue to feed from. I'm taking this to a very dark place here, but
Yeah.
I do think there is a tension between, because what we were talking about was time on site, right? With Facebook, is that everything was optimized for time on site, and that is because ultimately advertising, the more people are spending on the site, the more advertising that you can spend, and the higher rates, right? And I think that was kind of a pivotal moment in Facebook when Sheryl Sandberg came from Google, who had mastered time on site, or kind of like these kind of advertising toll booths, or ways that you could basically drive revenue, and it was all optimizing for more engagement. Well, where in the algorithms of these AI systems are they actually really allowing us to give time back? Because I find Claude also celebrates me and makes me kind of feel a little bit like I'm probably smarter than I am. And I'm kind of cynical, and I'm thinking, you're actually just trying to get under my skin. You're trying to make my time with you a little bit more, rewarding than my time in the real world. So there is a real tension there, but I do think that's something that Plow hopefully is something that we can solve, right? How do we give time back away from technology? How do we use technology to get away from technology? That's an interesting conundrum, right?
Yeah.
There's no clear answer, I don't think.
Yeah.
But
No. But that's what I mean. So the question is, what do you do about it? In the face of ambiguity, you can kind of go out into the mountains and do something else. You can tell other people to do things differently. You can regulate the industry, or you can
Right.
you can try to build something that actually that's actually the answer.
yeah,
In my community, there's a lot of people that come and ask like, what do you think? If, like, for example, a common question is, do you think AI will replace our jobs, or like software engineers, for example? And then I'm thinking myself, like, I want to be able to have the system that can replace me as a software engineer, so that the AI can do my work. But the answer that I give people is like, okay, if this happens, then the AI will not replace my work. Then like AI is able to do this work, and I will go, like, instead of like go to the mountains or like to the touch grass, I'll level up, and then I'll take care of like more responsibilities, because now that problem is solved. So my question to you, Sam, do you believe, is there a world like, if we have this amazing latte making machine that like creates good latte, we will like be able to go to the mountains and like spend more time away from the computer, or that's not gonna happen?
So the latte making machine that you're talking about is like the AI language model that writes good code, right? Today, if anybody's gotten a machine made latte, it's disgusting, right? And language models historically, they'll make code, but it doesn't taste good, right? And so the question is, if we have a latte making machine that makes the most delicious lattes, what do we do? That's kind of what you're asking.
Yeah. Do you see a world
Yeah.
where we actually are like, okay, this is enough. This is what was my job.
Yeah.
Now I have this machine.
I don't, it's interesting because there've been tools that have enslaved us and tools that have freed us, right? Like I do think the plow in agriculture genuinely freed the population from food production. And we got this explosion of, the arts and sciences and politics. Like we got all of this very interesting democracy. It all came from that freedom where humanity was freed from production of food. We went from 98% of the population everyone focused on just like putting food on the table for tomorrow to 2% of the population, right? And it was very freeing. Then you also have technologies that promised freedom and enslaved us, right? Like the automobile promised freedom. It was like going to be amazing. We'd go out into the country and take all these amazing trips. But the reality is most of us use the car to sit in traffic and commute to work. Why did we do that? Well, we wanted more. We wanted bigger houses, right? And so we would move out into the suburbs and commute into the city versus living near the city. And there is something human about this, where you can build a tool, but you also need to, we need to choose different, right? We need to reach for the healthy salad, not the Snickers bar. And I don't know. I think the answer, there's going to be multiple parts to this answer.
Yeah, I feel like the trouble is that, our biology hasn't really caught up with this godlike technology. We still kind of crave those essentials of like calories, of like fat and sugar, and those things that when food was scarce, that was something that our bodies were were built to obsess over. And now, even in a time of abundance, we still have these, and maybe Harper Reed on our recording of the podcast the other day said that GLP-1s might actually be one of the biggest breakthroughs. And actually Professor Scott Galloway says he thinks that it's actually more of a significant breakthrough for humanity than AI itself, because you're removing that need, that compulsion that occupies so much of your brain. I mean, it's not just food. Like, people are seeing it, that are taking it, are now taking rest from video games and from from gambling addiction, from alcohol addiction. So maybe that's bridging that gap.
Okay, we got a question from the audience.
Excellent.
Which, Daniel, I feel like is connected to what you said. So Theo9 is saying, I'm a product designer. I think they're going to replace me first. What do you think? And then there's kind of a nervous ha 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 after that. Daniel, what would you say to Theo?
So what I actually think is going to happen is, previously you were a designer that had a amount of tools available for you to do your work, and now you have this new tool that can do the work that you did in the past. So now, if for example, if in the old world I would take 2 days or 1 week or a full day to come up with that design, and I have this tool that can create like 10 different variations of design for me in 10 minutes. Now I don't need to spend my time creating that design. Now I can level up. And if I was only doing designs, now I can oversee the process of that previous task that I was working on. and maybe focus on in other things. So out of these 10 designs, or now I can use this tool to create 100 designs and do some A, B, C, D, E test and see which one converts more. Or so instead of like being replaced, I believe you become more productive and be able to 100x the output that you were able to do without this new tool. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah,
And
there
these
was
models-
who was it Jensen Wong who said AI is not going to replace you, it's going to be the person using AI that replaces you. And that resonates with me. Mary on our team is using an enormous amount of tokens based on this leaderboard, the token maxing leaderboard. We need to get that token maxing leaderboard on Watch Me Pivot.
Yeah.
And she's a designer. She's using more tokens than many, I would say, honestly, most engineers. And so the question is, how can you use AI to become a more productive designer, like Daniel's talking about, and then you can actually disrupt the design industry generally. You can provide enormous amount of value. Yeah.
I think it's reassuring that the audience is still a human. Like if you're a product designer, and even though a AI can iterate rapidly, there's still the judgment and the taste and the kind of human deference. You have to be that human in the loop that allows that human judgment to exist, because an algorithm cannot decide what the human actually ultimately gets handed off, and you have to be that final handoff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and here we have our token maxing leaderboard. Right now, Sam is top one with incredible 10 billion tokens. That's my target.
What were you spending all these tokens on, Sam?
I wonder this myself. I'm like, some days I'm like, I just spent 2 billion tokens and I'm frustrated. I just wasted 2 billion tokens. That's the equivalent writing of the first millennia of human literature.
So these are process of developing new tools. Like what really are you burning them on?
Okay, so let's see. I've got all these little windows, and I'll have between 10 and 8 and 10 windows. So let's see. This one is working on what are we working on here? This is working on getting GBrain working in Plow. So this is a memory system in Plow. Also working on getting GBrain working in Plow. This one's working on this is working on Seeds. So Seeds, we want to make it easy for people to share their AI infrastructure and install the AI infrastructure of the people they respect. This is working on a Seed that installs Hermes. Yeah. Plow is the container that installs an agent on your computer. So this one's figuring out. I got this alarming message. You never want to get this message. Warning, remote host identification has changed. It's possible that somebody is doing something nasty. Someone could be eavesdropping you right now.
Yeah, I think I disabled this config on my setup, because whenever
in the United States they have this term, the boy who cried wolf, and it's like when you get an alarming message often enough where you start to ignore it, and that's what's happening to you. The system is crying wolf, and it's benign enough.
Yeah, but I would set up these fresh containers and set up Tailscale on them, and then spin up another container with the same host name, the same Tailscale, and then I will get this message every time. So I disable.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to jump in here and say that we're at the half-hour mark, which is our time to cut this off. I see we do have a question here. Maybe we can entertain one more question, but I do want to remind our viewers. By the way, how many viewers do we have?
We have right now 4.
4. that we will be available daily. So we're going to keep these things short and sweet, and hopefully you'll join us tomorrow if you do have any questions that are unanswered. But want to take this last one?
Rowan, this is directed at you.
Oh, it is?
You and Daniel, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
O Pueblo. I wonder if I'm
Yes.
pronouncing his name right.
Oh, thanks for asking that. Daniel, do you want to take it?
No, you can take it.
Okay. So I have been enjoying Weavy workflows, which is kind of a node-based workflow where you can kind of choose different tools and you can string them together. And it can give you the entire cost of the workflow. So I'm doing some of that. I'm doing AI UGC content creation right now for Binance, one of the things that we're doing for Binance. But I love FreePic and all the tools. I love Nano Banana. I use that. I use Cdance 2.0 as my main, and Kling 3.0 as my main video tools. Yeah, it's a wild time. Seems like every 2 weeks something new comes out that we need to play around with. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only there was a way for you to track all these tokens that you're using on this beta generation tools.
yeah.
And like share the workflow. Imagine like this. That's the campaign I did for Binance, and this is setup I did to create it.
Yeah, I'm actually happy to share my Weavy workflow. I can flash it up and show you kind of. I mean, maybe we'll come back to this another time, but I'd be happy to share this stuff because I think that's very much in the spirit of what we're trying to do here. Yeah, let's come back to this another time, and I'll have a workflow to share.
Sam is
That
muted.
needs to be tomorrow. That needs to be tomorrow's video. Is you all sharing? Share with me, please. Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow. Join tomorrow.
Okay, we'll do it tomorrow.
We gotta focus on like,
Retention.
content generation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
There was-
podcast that I sent you all also sounded fascinating. Like the first half of that podcast on how he generated content.
Which I'm not sure if I received that link.
You got to listen to the first half of this podcast.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
workflow
share with
he
me.
uses ChatGPT with a couple different skills and plugins, and
Uh-huh.
he makes a strong argument for ChatGPT actually, and Codex.
Uh-huh.
I'll find it and share it out with you all.
So I on my side about like content generation, I'm using AI on stuff that I can automate, and that is stuff that takes a lot of time. So for example, when I'm recording videos, a really common task is like removing all the silence, because the silence are not interesting for people. So I can easily set up 2 camera to record myself, and then remove all the silence, and then do the switches between A and B and A and B and A and crop and zoom in, and like use some Facebook segmentation model to identify like where is my face in the video, so that I can crop in at the right proportion. So that's what I use. I don't use anything else for video. And I got a message a few minutes ago on my live stream saying, Daniel, I'm really excited with my people. I transformed all my workflow of work, built a front management front that I'm calling Dayboard, delegating everything through this meta system. So there's a user here that created his Dayboard seed.
Very cool.
I don't know if it's a seed or like he just customized the seed to create his Dayboard.
This is the My People seed.
That's based on the My People seed. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
very
great.
cool. We got to do a My People. We got to do a My People demo.
Yes.
2 o'clock with the team. With Daniel, with your management front end on top of it.
Yeah.
So we should get the Plow team in on that, but do that live as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's like a demo day or a
Yeah. We're actually the goal with this is to actually start planning ahead some content so people can kind of like we can set a date for doing that, and then people can come back if they specifically want to tune in for that.
Right.
So-
right.
We'll find
Yeah.
a way to publish the content schedule on our socials. That's next.
Or
step
watch
for
me
us.
pivot.
That's right, on the Watch Me Pivot landing page.
Put it on watch me pivot /schedule.
Yep.
He's telling me, he just answered like in the chat, his plan is to build a seed and make it harness agnostic. So his version of My People.
Very cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Thanks for
Thank
joining.
you very much. Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Take care.